covering the stories that impact your life, your town, your state, and your future. This is the Means Report with your host, Brad Means.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Means Report. We certainly appreciate you spending part of your day with us, where today we're going to talk politics, local and national, beginning with a look at all of the happenings in Augusta. So many things have been in the news lately. Commissioner Jordan Johnson will help us cover those, beginning with trees. You know, the folks who love trees, and that probably includes most of us, don't want to see some trees downtown removed. So let's get up to speed on that. We'll also talk presidential politics in our second segment. Many things are happening, it seems, by the second in that regard. And we'll wrap it up with ways that you can stay in touch with us here at the Means Report. It's easy. We'll show you at the end of this broadcast. But at the beginning here, let's start with Commissioner Jordan Johnson from Augusta District 1. Commissioner, welcome back to the Means Report. I hope I waited long enough in between visits. I didn't want to pester you.
No, you're just fine. It's always a pleasure being on talking with you.
Me too. I appreciate it. And so let's start with those trees. So we have a widening project on Telfair Street, and there are many trees that are marked for removal to make that widening possible. There's been pushback from folks who don't want certain trees removed, including a state champion crepe myrtle. Were you surprised that there was pushback on those trees, or did you think, hey, this project is just going to go smoothly with no pushback?
Well, you know, this is probably one of the largest investments in infrastructure that Augusta is going to see in downtown for a very long time. And so we understand that this need for better drainage, road resurfacing, better sidewalks, all of these needs are there, right? But you know, the fact of the matter is, when those pink marks showed up on those trees, it caused concerns.
Yeah.
And I understand. You know, the loudest voice in the room for me will always be the voice of the people. And hearing their concerns about, you know, those trees coming down, the environmental implications that would have, the beautification, you know, the beauty aspect of removing those trees, all of those topics are, you know, very relevant. And so, no, I wasn't surprised. I'm actually glad that they had an opportunity to come and voice their concerns, because now we have an opportunity to, you know, relook at the scope of that project and kind of see how we can help do what they ask.
Well, no, I hear you. Have y'all stopped the removal process for now? Nobody's chopping anything down?
Yeah, so when we got those calls about the trees coming down, I asked for all of the tree removal, or replacement, I should say, to kind of be at a halt until we have an opportunity to meet with the neighbors, and then sort of go to the drawing board and see how we can reach a happy medium.
How'd y'all's first meeting go? You had a big public meeting, which I thought was very nice of the city to do that. Did you get some good comments?
Oh, it was a great meeting. The very first thing that we did was call the neighborhood together so we can have a conversation. We were at Heritage Academy, and it was very well attended. And folks had an opportunity to share their concerns, because that's what this is about. I don't want the residents in that neighborhood, or certainly anywhere else, to believe that this is the city versus the people. That's not the case at all. We want to make sure that we're able to complete the project, but do it in a way that the neighborhood can be proud of as well. And so I think that was the goal of that meeting, and I believe that we're going to accomplish that goal.
Do you get the feeling that some of the trees can be saved?
Yes,
okay.
I do believe that some of the trees can be saved. Certainly, I'm going to go into it thinking about ways to save some of them. The reality of it is, we're not going to be able to save all of them. I think everyone understands that. But communication is the key here, and making sure that we're doing it in a way that doesn't completely destroy the fabric of that neighborhood is going to be extremely important. And so we're super sensitive to that regard, to that aspect.
I was walking out the door to do this interview. My wife asked who my guests were, and I told her that we're going to talk about the trees and the project. When I say a Telfair Street widening project, am I saying it the right way? Because she said Telfair Street's wide enough, there's no way they're making that street wider. Is it a widening project?
Well, it's a streetscape project.
Okay.
And so what that means is we're looking at ways to slow down traffic with traffic calming strategies. That may include, you know, designing the curbs and the gutters a little bit differently. You know, we're talking about adding trees into the areas where we're taking them down. You know, every tree that comes down will be replaced.
Okay.
The biggest aspect of this project is just the improvements that will come with drainage. We just finished a $6 million project in East Augusta, and I'm going to talk about that until I'm blue in the face, because it works. These types of projects are absolutely what our community needs. No one should have to you know, adjust their day because of flooding. That's happening in downtown. So it's not the what, it's really the how, and how we communicate through those processes is, I think, what the big issue is.
Well, as we record this interview, we've been getting a good amount of rain. Is East Augusta handling it better than it used to?
East Augusta is handling the rain better than it ever has before.
That's awesome.
And, I make it a mission of mine to go down to East Augusta when it's raining so that I can just make sure the project did what it was supposed to do. If you go down Brunswick Avenue and Espinosa and Albany in the Eastview subdivision, you have new roads, you have crosswalks, you have nice sidewalks. And the big thing is folks aren't in boats like they were back in the 90s. You remember that?
Oh, yeah, I do.
And so progress is being made. But I understand that we have to be a little understanding when trying to make that progress.
You know, a lot has happened since we last visited, and I want to talk about some of those things. The mayor of Augusta, the people spoke. The mayor, no matter who he or she is now or down the road, gets a vote on all commission matters. Your thoughts on that and how it's going so far?
Well, he cast his first vote, think about maybe a week or so ago. It was to exit or go into executive session.
Right, it wasn't like a big time vote. Right.
No pomp and circumstance
No.
there. The people spoke. Of course, I have my opinions on the way that the referendum even made it to the ballot. But again, that's neither here nor there. The people spoke. The mayor has a vote, and he'll be voting on issues. The key now is just to make sure that we're all collaborating to get Augusta to the next phase of our future. I think that's what all of this is about. What type of Augusta do we want to see, and working together to make that happen.
Do you think there's any way now with this added vote for the mayor that opponents of an issue that the mayor supports, if I'm asking this the right way, can block him or block that issue through abstentions or through voting present? Is that still a move anymore, or does this mayoral vote negate that and you have to and that politics won't work like they used to?
Well,
is that right?
I think that it depends on how you look at things, right? We talk about the amount of votes that were abstaining votes, right?
Yeah.
Since Mayor Johnson has been the mayor, there's only been about 4, and that's been on 2 topics. So it's not like there were, a huge amount of votes missing from key items. So I definitely understand though where that conversation comes from. But I think the key here is finding ways to really focus on what matters and not on the everyday drama that comes along with city government.
Right.
Riverwalk development is not something that I think folks would fight about. Making sure that neighborhoods don't flood when it rains is not something that people would fight about. But if there's something that happens in our government that is not transparent and that goes against what department heads and legal and our administrators is telling us about, then of course you're going to have some discourse there. But I believe that we can put that behind us. It just really depends on if the commission has a heart to do that, which I believe that we do.
Another big development since we last met, the sheriff got voted out. A new sheriff is on the way in. What do you think about the outcome of that race? Sheriff Roundtree has been in office for 3 terms. What do you think about a newcomer to the game, unseating him?
The people spoke again, and that is the genesis, I think, of a lot of the topics we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Is that the people speak. The people spoke out, and they elected a new sheriff. I can't speak to why they did that, but what I do know is that they spoke. And I look forward to working with Sheriff Brantley when he takes office. I think that he is going to be a great sheriff. I think that he's going to be in the community and active. We're going to see him. And that's not to say that Sheriff Roundtree was not, because I thoroughly enjoyed working with Sheriff Roundtree to get guns off the street, to pay our officers, to deal with mental health, to help our homeless. Sheriff Roundtree did that. And I appreciate him for that. But again, the voters have spoken, and we need to get behind our new sheriff and make sure that he's successful as well.
I only have time for a couple more questions, and you mentioned homelessness. I didn't want you to leave without hitting on that topic. Are you pleased with the progress we're making in that area to help find shelter for our homeless and to help that part of Augusta?
Well, because we sat for so long without a real strategic plan in place, quite naturally it's taken a while for us to make those strides the way that we would like.
Yeah.
The thing I'm most excited about is the fact that we actually have a team that goes to encampments to do outreach, and you find people there and you offer services and they take them. I think what we're going to be seeing now in the near future is initiatives being brought before the commission to house our homeless, whether that is temporarily or permanently. I plan to bring items to the commission that could help in that vein. We have SPLOST coming. We need to talk about a day center and an overnight shelter. And so I think we're in a perfect position to really talk about how to get people off the streets and into quality housing.
Last question, and it's just, are you optimistic or pessimistic about the future as the full commission assembles in January and off you all go to handle city business? Are you hopeful?
I'm always hopeful. I love this city. I've never lived anywhere else. I was born and raised here, and I plan on staying here. I have no intention on leaving. Augusta is in the best position that it has been in a very long time. Regardless of the political back and forth that you may see on TV, Augusta is poised to be the example across this region. And I will put Augusta against any city in this state. I think we're doing great, and you haven't seen anything yet.
Well, I look forward to that, and I can't thank you enough for your time. You're always so generous with it, Commissioner. Thanks so much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Commissioner Jordan Johnson, District Number 1 in the Garden City. When we come back, we're going to talk about the national political scene. What is happening and what can we expect going forward, especially in the race for president, as the Means Report continues.